Hey y'all, Bree here. I just remember when we first got engaged, really when we were dating, I said, I put a plate out for you.
And she put a plate out.
How did we navigate that? How we navigate the good things and the bad things. So on our YouTube channel, we just kind of talk about that. Give y'all some insight, not trying to give advice, because we know marriage can be this process that we go through. We just want to invite y'all along in our process. So just subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we hope that we can be just encouragement for y'all, and we hope y'all watch.
What is up, y'all?
What's
My
up?
name is Josh.
And I'm Bree.
Yes, and we are back with a new few conversations.
Yes. Back in the action.
Yes. It's been a little while since we've
Yes.
recorded some of these, right? I think last time we recorded what happened after we said I do, we were 4 months married. It was like 4 months. I watched the episode before. It was
Are
like
you
4
sure?
or 5 months. Yes.
I felt like it was forever.
It wasn't.
Oh, it felt like it was forever.
It was like 4 months. So yes. So now it's been a little over a year and a half.
Yes, a year and a half.
Yeah. How you feeling?
I feel good.
Okay.
I think we still like each other.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we haven't. Let me not say we haven't had any struggles. We've gotten along quite well.
Yes.
In the Lord's name.
Yes,
For
100%. No, I think you're right. And I think it goes to our why. Why do we do this? And I think early on, we just kind of realized, like, man, like we want to kind of be open books. We want to kind of share what it is that we go through. We want to share our insights, not necessarily our advice, right? We want to
Yes.
share our insights as we kind of navigate this thing they call marriage, and we're enjoying it, and we see different things, and we're just like, oh, maybe that's a conversation that might be helpful for other people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of our heart behind why we do these series of conversations, and we hope that they'll be helpful to you. Now, previously we talked about a little bit of like how we met and our dating story a little bit, and all of that is already out, so we're not going to bog you down with the
We won't
details,
bore y'all.
but give them a quick 4 or 5 sentence recap of how we met.
Okay, I'm limited to 4 or 5 sentences. I'll be short. No, basically, met at a life group that I was leading for young adults at First Orlando. So yeah, that's how we met. Started hanging out, and we were like, oh,
I'm intrigued at how you met at a life group that you were leading, and that was an important detail
Because it
that
was
needed
important.
to be. I won't. Yes, that's interesting.
well, let me not say it's important. Let me just say that I think it was important for me because that was my first time leading a life group, and I think I was nervous about that. So to actually like not pick up Josh, but meet Josh in my first experience leading a life group, I think that's why it's important that I always say
Interesting.
I was leading it.
Okay. Well,
Somebody sounds a little, sour patch.
ain't nobody sour patch.
I don't understand.
I was just making an observation. You led with that strong, and I just made an observation.
Well, what would you have led with?
I would have led with, I met a very nice young man, and he had little hair.
No hair at all.
Next subject. If you want to hear more about that, watch one of the previous episodes. We want to jump right into what it is that we want to talk about. And today, here's the question that we're trying to answer. Today, we want to talk about how to support each other's goals.
Yes.
Right? So we've been navigating marriage, and something that's kind of come up a lot, especially in this first year. I think it's just been maybe unique to us, maybe things that happen in other marriages or whatever, but it's been a lot around purpose, a lot around career, a lot around passion. And the question that we kind of got from that was just like, man, like how do we support each other through each other's goals?
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So here is the first observation that I've kind of made. And it's just like, in order to be supportive of your partner's goals, of your spouse's goals, you have to first know what they are. right?
Yeah.
You got to know what they are. So it's just like Bree and I remember when we were dating, just having lots of conversations. Bree found me. When I was a rapper, I had came down
I know
from.
that's how you gonna start the story.
Why are you so passionately laughing?
Sorry, go ahead.
I was a rapper. I had came down from Connecticut.
Yes.
I had no job.
I thought that's how he was gonna start the story.
I had I have vision. I don't need to start there
You had
because
a
I
lot.
knew where I was going. I knew exactly where I
I
was
didn't know
going.
the setup, friends. Okay.
So, but I had come from this background of career of just like I did finance before. I was in the automotive industry and I came down to Florida, but I'm very entrepreneurial. So just like did the music for about 10 years and then was getting into video. And I remember just having these conversations and just kind of letting her know like, man, I don't, I know I have here are some of the goals that I have. Here are some of the things that I'm navigating. I don't have it all figured out, but I want you to see who I am as a person as a whole.
Yeah.
Because when I start making decisions and start moving and navigating, I need you to understand what it is that I'm trying to do. Is that fair? What did you see? How did you observe that?
Yeah, it's fair, but also it was very intriguing because he did not have a job, but then like I just watched and like just observed how he laid out the vision. I'm like, oh well, he got great potential. Like, and I know you're not supposed to like
Sold on a dream.
date people because of the potential, but like I had listened to his story of how he got into rap, and I was like, oh, so I see that you had this plan for this, and then just him moving down here. And I think even when we were on our first date, you were already talking about like how you were like finding jobs to support this other vision. So I think I was more so hopeful and actually pretty secure that like whatever he decided to do, I knew he would do it because you had laid out what the goal was, even though some things I didn't necessarily know in the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So I think it goes back to just the speaking part of
So don't be afraid if they don't have jobs, friend.
Yes, be cautious, but don't be afraid. I think
Be a
Bree
little
was
cautious.
definitely cautious.
Yeah.
I would say that you were cautious.
I was.
But yeah, no, I think the knowing in order to support one another with their goals is like you have to know what they are to begin with. And in a little update, just so y'all know, that was about 4 years later. Your boy winded up making his way in the video, switching into a whole other
Yes.
career. So
Yes, he did.
I've made.
And you've done quite well at everything that you've gone
Thank you.
into.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. So practically, I want to talk about what that looks like. Yes, we can know what our goals are, but I think more practically, it's like, are your goals? Here's the challenge that I want to kind of challenge y'all with. Are your goals your goals? Right? So I think what I was navigating a lot, especially even when after coming down here to Florida from Connecticut, was just this wrestling of, are these things that I want to pursue things I truly want to pursue, or are these things that I want to pursue things that have been constructed by other people of where they want me to be or where I think they want me to be or what I think people want me to be.
Yeah.
And I think
That was good.
I just think it can be very dangerous to navigate that path with someone because it's just you're ultimately going left and right and you're bringing somebody along, but you're not really getting to the true essence of what it is that you're trying to do. So I think my challenge to any of y'all that are listening would be just to, yes, know what your goals are, but then one step further is to kind of challenge yourself to make sure that they're actually your goals.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. And I think as someone who's just kind of navigated like a season of like people pleasing, I think I've gotten better. But I think that is just a really good point because especially when it comes to society and what you see and what you're influenced by, that too kind of alters, what goals you have versus what goals that other people have for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So how to support one another while in marriage, the first thing that we kind of talked about is just knowing what your goals are, how to support each other's goals in marriage, knowing what they are. What is the second thing we want to talk about?
Yeah, I think second thing is just like the reality that like our goals change. Like they just naturally change. I think for me, something that I just navigated was like, okay, when we were dating, I was like, okay, like I think I have some curiosity about how like my goals might be shifting just based on like career wise. And the more like I kind of thought about it, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, yeah, like I'm like, yeah, like I think I should just switch. And so recognizing that my goals were changing, but also just the security that you were supporting me as the goals were changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember when we were dating, I remember having a conversation with you.
Yes.
And I remember asking where you seen yourself going. And I remember because you were a physical therapist at this point. You went to school, physical therapist assistant, went to school for it and everything. And we were talking about that. Yeah. And I remember you just kind of saying like, hey, like, yeah, no, this is the path I'm on. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I remember in that same moment kind of being like, oh, okay, because you were sure in what it is that you had wanted to do, but then because of my past and just everything that I've navigated, I'm just like, and all the changes that came about, I think at the same time I heard that, but I was still holding that with a grain of salt and being like, okay, but things may come up to where things may change.
Well, and I think reality too is that that's what you heard, but I think I was kind of wrestling with already that I wanted to switch, like just careers and like goals, like careers and base those off goals. So I think I wasn't, when we first started dating, I was like, oh, I'm gonna stay in this field because financially, like, it'll just kind of keep us stable and just try to make things move along. But I think the wrestling part was like, okay, but like what I feel like I'm passionate about, what I feel like God's calling me to. And so, I don't know if I was necessarily comfortable to share that because I was still trying to figure it out.
But I think also, and I think that's a really good nugget in there where, yes, because what you were saying based off what I received were two different messages because I didn't see the wrestling part. But I think also as I'm processing now, your comfortability to be able to step into something, I feel like kind of went hand in hand with your security. So like knowing that we were kind of provided for, knowing that we were kind of in a more settled space, I'm asking, I'm not telling. I'm curious as if that made you feel more comfortable in being like, oh, you know what, we are kind of more stable, so I have more latitude to try something or do something different. Did that have anything to do with it?
I think so, but here's something that I remember you said, which I don't know if you know. You said, hey, we just got married, we don't have kids yet, it's okay to explore other things. Yeah. And I think when you said that, I was like, oh, like we don't have kids yet. And like, oh, like we are secure enough financially that like I can try things, still being mindful that like with a career change comes like the financial, kind of how you work that out. But I think when you said that, I think I was just so much more open to like step out and actually like follow what I felt I needed to do.
No, I think that's a good point. I think that's how, ironically, that's how I winded up in Florida, is because that same tension of, hey, this is the most freedom I'm going to have right now. Let's navigate and move in that. I think that's good. But what do you practically think others can do? Like, we know things will change. What do we what do we do about it practically?
Yeah, no, I think practically, just continue to be open and be curious about trying other things. Yeah. Like to just step out and be like, okay, if my spouse is allowing me, which I don't want to say allow, that's kind of a big word. If my spouse is supporting me, then I feel confident to step out into something because I'm curious about it. And if it doesn't work out, okay, cool, but at least I can say I tried it. Yeah. So main point is to be curious and to step out if you feel supported. Yeah. Yeah.
No, and I think that's good because I think even it's so funny to be able to look back and assess things. But from the beginning, I think I probably never stated this, but this is probably one of my core values of just like allowing you to be as curious as possible to things that you think may interest you, because it goes back to the book that I was trying to get you to write the first time that we were at the poetry book.
Bro.
And quick,
can you tell?
It's quick story. It's just we is dating. She said she did poetry. I went her WordPress. I saw all the poetry. I was just like, oh, I think we got something here. My business mind kicked in. We met at Starbucks. I said, listen, it's probably our second, third, fourth date. I said, listen,
the second date.
We need to do a book. Here's the plan. Here's the marketing plan. Here's where we're gonna do the photo shoot.
Everything.
Here's where we're gonna do everything. And she wasn't there yet. But
no, well, also I thought he was crazy, because I was like, this is why I don't tell people things, because this is the type of foolishness that I get involved in. And also I didn't know him, and I didn't even know if I wanted to write a book. I just was like, no, like I just have like this thing that I'm passionate about, and I just want to keep it for me. And Josh is like, tell the whole world. And I'm like, I don't want to tell nobody.
It's the vision I'm casting.
You always casting, and here I am in this, not after us being married. And I'm like, oh, like maybe one day I will write a book.
Look at that. I'm just ahead of my time.
He's just so ahead of his time.
That's all it is.
But if I don't write a book, that's okay too.
That's okay too.
But just know that.
Just follow the curiosity. So yeah, so I think that is those are kind of some of the insights that we've gleaned from the question of how to support one another's goals in marriage as we start to kind of wrestle with and figure that out. Those aren't by no means the only two things you need to know.
No, it's probably a lot more.
100%. I think those are just kind of the two things that kind of stood out to us the most. In that, basically, just first off knowing what they are, and then secondly knowing that they're gonna change, right? They may change, they're gonna shift and navigate, and knowing how to navigate those two things appropriately.
Yeah, and I would just say the main thing in all of this is the honesty about what it is that you want to do or what your goal is, and also communicating that, and hopefully having support, because I feel like it's harder to like move forward if you don't have support. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank y'all so much for watching this conversation with us.
Yes.
And we will see you next time.
See y'all.
Bye.
Bye.